Did any phrase or word or image stand out to you as you listened? You know what stood out for me was that request for God to expand my struggle for a reason. Expand my struggle so that I might become more human. That almost seems counterintuitive. I think the reason it stands out to me is because I have been meditating on Hildegard de Bingen's definition of humility. I've been meditating on this definition for months. It just won't leave me alone. Hildegard described humility as the process of letting go of unreasonable expectations in exchange for the reality of being human. Letting go of the unrealistic and hanging on to the reality. So for me, the definition is a reminder to think about what I'm thinking about, to pay attention to what I'm expecting, and then to go a bit deeper by asking myself, is what I'm expecting realistic or is it unrealistic? And then taking an additional step, letting go of what I expect and accepting the reality of what it means to be human. What is the reality of being human? What does that mean to you? The reality of being human. For me, one aspect of the reality is I don't have a clue about what's going to happen next. And more than likely, it will be something that I don't plan and something that I don't expect. Because the reality is, we humans are highly unpredictable. Another reality of being human for me is that I don't always get it right, and that's okay. In spite of what I was taught in school, in spite of the way I was socialized, where I was always rewarded for being right, I got smiley faces and stars for doing a good job, but when I made a mistake, when I didn't have the right answer, I got a frowny face and a lower grade. The reality of being human is I have a tendency to make mistakes. And it is unrealistic for me to believe that I have all the answers. Nevertheless, I have this tendency to want my own way. I have a tendency to want to be right. And I have a tendency to avoid trouble. For me, that's the reality of being human. Especially the part about having this tendency to want to do things right and screwing them up anyway. That's my reality. It's also a reality to recognize that I am faithful, I am determined, and I'm fragile. And it's important that I remember that about you as well. You are faithful, determined, fragile. We are faithful, determined, fragile. Perhaps that's the point of the prayer. Perhaps that's why the prayer says, pry me off dead center, pry me away from that place of certitude, pry me away from that place where I think I have everything right, because it just becomes a stronghold and a stranglehold. Move me instead to that place of tension where I have to go through the trouble of staying in balance, where I have to keep my eyes open, my ears open. Move me into that place of sifting and sorting and deciding and discerning and binding and loosing what is realistic, what's unrealistic. That place where I have to decide again and again and again. Am I really willing to pick up my cross and follow?